Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining today. We're going to get started in just a moment, just giving everybody a chance to log in and get their audio set up. So thank you for your patience, and we'll be with you shortly. A quick overview of what I'll be talking about today. I'll give a brief introduction to online learning with Edinburgh Business School at Heriot-Watt University. I'll talk a little bit about planning for the assessment, what to expect on the day of the assessment, including the assessment structure, and then I'll go into some FAQs. So if you have questions, feel free to type them into the chat. You may want to wait until the end of the session. I will leave plenty of time for you to ask any questions you may have, but if you want to ask things in the meantime, please feel free. All right, so why study online? At Heriot-Watt, we recognize that there is a need for professionals to develop their knowledge and skills alongside work and other commitments. Studying a postgraduate degree through online learning allows you to obtain new knowledge and update existing skills, and you can apply them to your workplace in real time. It also allows you to expand your professional network. If you are able to integrate your study with full-time employment, your new skills and knowledge can immediately benefit yourself and your organization as you put them into practice in real time. So you've decided that studying online might be a right fit for you, but you're looking at universities. One reason, or you might be considering, why should you choose Heriot-Watt? As one of the most progressive and international institutions based in Scotland, you'll have the opportunity to thrive both personally and academically during your time with us. We have a lot of experience delivering distance learning over 25 years. I believe we're approaching about 30 years now with the MBA specifically, so there's a lot of experience in the university. We are highly reputable. We're ranked 32nd in the UK and 235th worldwide. There are great employment prospects, so we're first in Scotland and fourth in the UK for graduate employability. And over 80% of our graduates are in full-time employment or further study within 15 months after graduation. We are also very globally connected. We have over 20,000 graduates in 160 countries worldwide. So chances are, no matter where you're moving to or where you find yourself, there's going to be a Heriot-Watt alumni somewhere in your country. We do tend to get questions about online versus on-campus programs, and specifically what your certificate will look like after you graduate. So any program that you complete as an online learning student will give you the exact same qualification as your on-campus peers. So for example, if you're taking the MBA as an online learning student, you will be equally as qualified as someone who undertakes our MBA on campus. And your degree certificate will be identical to that, the one that our on-campus students receive. There is no mention of online learning on the certificate. Even though you'll be studying online and the program is self-paced, you will still have plenty of support available to you. So you'll have access to the virtual library 24/7. There's academic support from the tutors on weekdays. So I'll talk about the discussion forums in a bit, but they are available to you. If you have questions, you can definitely reach out to them. You'll also have discussion boards and cafe areas where you can get to know your fellow students. You'll have an introduction to digital study and academic skills on your student portal. So you'll have information about how to study online, as well as what we're looking at specifically at Heriot-Watt University. So make sure to go through that. You'll also have access to LinkedIn Learning. And if you do need some extra help, don't worry, we are only an email away. If you have questions about the course material, team chats are welcomed by your tutors. And there is also the discussion forum that I mentioned earlier. So this is on all of the courses, and you're able to create topics and discuss any area of your learning with your academics and your fellow peers. So if you have questions about what the material is saying, you can ask a question there and the academics can get back to you. You can also talk with your peers about how what you're learning applies to your real world experience as well. So it's a great opportunity to get to know each other in the online forum. Okay, so information about assessments now. When you're thinking about planning for your assessments, it's a good idea to keep in mind when the assessment sessions are happening. So there are 3 assessment sessions or assessment diets every academic year. There's one in December, there's one in April-May time, and there's one in July-August. So when you start studying a course, you're going to be automatically registered for the next available assessment diet that is at least 3 months away from the date you begin studying the course. So for example, if you're planning to study the course, start studying the course next week, even though the July-August diet is the next one, that is less than 3 months away. So you're going to be automatically enrolled in the December one. The date of your assessment will be confirmed, and you can access that through the assessment calendar on your student portal. So you can take a look, see what the dates are, and keep that in your calendar already so you'll know in the future when you're looking at work deadlines and everything. It'll give you an idea about what to expect. And in terms of preparing for the assessment, it's just done in the normal way that you would do for any course. Make sure you work through the course material and review it. Don't leave everything until the last minute. Pace yourself. Each course is about 200 study hours, so make sure you give yourself enough time to properly study the material and absorb it. In addition, you may want to prepare your notes, textbooks, handouts, any websites you might have bookmarked to make it easier to use them during the assessment. So if you take some time before the assessment to have that all set up, you'll feel a lot more prepared on the actual day. You should also plan in advance to make sure that you have a quiet place to take the assessment, and make sure you have a strong internet connection that day. So it is now assessment day. You'll have 24 hours to complete the assessment by downloading the paper and uploading the answers online through the student portal. So we will set this 24-hour window, and I'll talk about this in a bit, but it's not going to take the full 24 hours, but just make sure, like I said, that you have a strong internet connection and a quiet place where you can focus. You'll have access to your notes, the course material, and the internet to consult during the assessment. It is open book, and all assessments will be available within the virtual learning environment. And just as a reminder, these assessment dates are taking place in December, April, May, and July, August. So the actual assessment structure, it's going to be time limited. There will be 24 hours between the assessment paper being made available to you and the deadline for submitting your completed assessment script. So it's not like you'll need to be at your laptop and your computer at 10 a.m. UK time exactly on the dot on the day of the assessment. You can choose when in that 24-hour period works best for you, but make sure that you finish everything and submit it before that window closes. You aren't expected to spend those full 24 hours working on your answer. We're giving you this time to make sure that you have enough time to access the paper, write your answers, and submit your assessment response, as well as handle any responsibilities you might have, and of course, take into account different time zones. For all assessments, there will be a maximum word limit for each question or the assessment as a whole to help you manage your time. And all assessment papers will be designed to be completed in around 3 to 4 hours of focused effort. So we're giving you that 24-hour window to make things a little bit easier for you to coordinate, but the assessment itself should only take about 3 to 4 hours. And just again, as a reminder, make sure you submit it before the 24-hour window closes. Okay, so if you're feeling confident about how to take the assessments and you're ready to start enrolling, give a brief overview of how to do so. So at Edinburgh Business School, we recognize that successful, motivated students come from a range of educational and professional backgrounds, and we are proud to extend transformative education to all. So we offer a performance-based admissions process that is inclusive and flexible. So while we advise students should meet a minimum academic level, such as holding a degree so that they are best placed to succeed on program, this is not a requirement. We have the performance-based admission pathway where students are able to take one of our courses, the core courses, and enroll on the program after they successfully complete the course. So if you feel you are ready to start studying, you can enroll immediately. You don't need to wait to enroll on an intake or complete an application form. There's just the enrollment process, and we don't have any set intake dates, so you can start studying as soon as you're ready to do so. Okay, So you're ready to enroll now and just not quite sure of how to do so. You can head to your chosen program page on our website, which is hw.ac.uk/online. And when you're on the program page, let's say you're looking for the MBA with a specialism in strategy, you're on that program page, you click on the Enroll Now button, and then you'll just follow the instructions. The first page will ask you to enter your personal details. The second page will have you select your courses that you want to start studying at this point. And the third page is when you'll make your initial payment. It'll show you what the total fees would be, and then it'll take you to our payment partner. Upon completion of this enrollment process, you'll hear from our student engagement team, usually in 2 to 3 business days. They'll reach out to guide you through the subsequent steps, which will let you commence your studies promptly without having to await a fixed intake or undergo an application review. So if you're joining us through the academic pathway where you have that minimum undergraduate degree, this is at the point that you'll be asked to provide proof of your previous qualifications. You might need to provide proof of your English language, but this will happen after you purchase your courses because we do have those 2 pathways, so it's flexible intake options available for you. But just definitely keep an eye on your email so that you can access everything and you submit the documents you may need to in a timely manner. Our online students and alumni who are studying an Edinburgh Business School program are able to access the Coursera Career Academy free of charge during or after their studies. So while you have depending on which course you're taking, set number of courses, 9 courses for most of the MBAs, some of the MSCs are 8 or 9 courses. You have also the option to take to supplement your learning with industry courses, projects, and professional certificates. So these are micro-credentials that you can study over, usually it's about 4 to 12 weeks, and they are designed by the world's leading companies. So there's options from Google, IBM, Microsoft, and this is a way for you to continue to build your practical skill set that employers are looking for. So this is a benefit that is available to you. There's no limit to how many courses one student can complete, and there's a wide variety of subjects. So while you might be doing that strategy course, you can still take courses in cybersecurity, project management, accountancy, real estate, and data science. So the courses can be selected to prepare students for a particular career path. It can align with what your current degree pathway is, or it could simply be something that you have a personal interest in. We do have more information on our website, but this is available to you when you're a student, as well as after you graduate. You'll still have access as an alum. Something we get a lot of questions about is funding and scholarships. So we have the option for our students to pay on a course-by-course basis. So when you are filling out that enrollment form, you'll be asked to select which courses you want to purchase at this time. That can be 1, 2, 3, all of them, however many you want to do. If you're only looking to purchase a few to start with, when you are ready to register for the next courses, you can just add them on from your student portal and pay for them at that time. So you are able to spread out your payments that way. However, if you are interested in purchasing all the courses up front, so in one transaction, you are able to take advantage of the 20% upfront fee reduction. So that is something to consider. Excuse me. And that is automatically applied. So when you're filling out that enrollment form, you'll select all the courses, or there's also a button that selects them for you. And just in case you're a little bit concerned in terms of you're not sure which electives you want to take right now, but you do know that you want to take advantage of this 20% upfront discount, you can change those later on if you haven't started studying yet. So don't let that stop you from taking advantage of this if it's of interest to you. We also sometimes have scholarships available. You can check on our website. They're often there. If you go to our fees page, select which program you are interested in, and then what country you are residing in. Any options that are available will pop up for you. Okay, so I know that was pretty quick, but I wanted to leave as much time as possible to answer any questions you might have. So please feel free to pop them into the chat. If there's any specific questions that you want to ask that's really about you and you're not comfortable posting it in the chat, you can reach our enrollment team at hwonlineapps@hw.ac.uk. As well as if questions come to you after the webinar ends, you can always reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you. This webinar has been recorded, so you will have access to the recording as well. So just keep an eye on your email and you'll see the recording from us shortly. All right, so I'm seeing people have been introducing themselves. That's fantastic. We have people from Oman and Ethiopia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia. This is fantastic. It's nice to see that there's people all over. Okay, so there's questions about the fee structure that I saw my colleague Vary was answering. So if you do have questions about your particular situation, do email us at hwonlineapps@hw.ac.uk and we can help with that. All right, so getting a question about if you want to complete multiple assessments in one assessment period, are the assessment dates likely to be spaced out in that week? Great question. So as I've discussed, there are 3 assessment periods every year, and the assessment dates are set by us and we can't be flexible on them. You are able to take up to 3 assessments per assessment diet. However, they can be scheduled for the same date. What I would recommend doing is when you register for a course or several courses, after that, go onto your student portal, check to see what the dates are for the assessments so that you can select ones that aren't on the same dates. We do offer the assessments for each course every assessment period. So it's not like you're going to be missing the chance to sign up for the one in December, then you'll have to wait another year. You will have it available in all the assessment periods, but definitely double check to see what the dates are. And we don't recommend doing more than 2 assessments per assessment die just because things can get really hectic and exhausting if you do so, but everybody is different. But definitely make sure that they aren't on the same dates. Okay, questions about the English language requirements. So we do have English language requirements for the program. If you're going through the standard academic entry, there's a number of options available to you that includes tests that you would take. If you have done an undergraduate degree or a previous degree in the English language and you graduated less than 2 years ago, that is something we can consider. If your workplace is the language of business is English, we could potentially consider a letter from your HR department or line manager as well confirming that. You will need to have been there for at least 6 months, but there is a lot of really good information on our website. Vari just posted it in the chat, so please take a look at that and let us know if you have any questions about it. However, one thing to keep in mind is if you are joining us through the performance-based admission pathway, where you're going to be taking and passing one of the core courses before you're formally enrolled in the program, you don't need to provide proof of English language for that one, because passing that course, that will be proof that your English language proficiency will be able to be met to pass the courses. So that is an option as well. Okay, so getting questions about the fee structure again, and if you are doing ACCA. So if you are looking to get exemptions on any of the courses, please email us. We can send you the form to fill out to be sent to the exemptions board for them to review and see if they'd be able to offer you any exemptions. There are time limits on when these exemptions can be considered. So Typically, it needs to be within the last 5 years for you to have any potential exemptions, but send us an email and we can definitely explain more about the process about that. And then in terms of the fee structure, please go to our fees page and take a look to see where your country of residence is and what program that you're interested in. And that will pull up the fees for you. It'll break it down into being what the fee per course is, as well as what the fee is for the full program if you're paying course by course. So you'll have access to all that and you can see exactly what the fees would be. Just a quick note, if you're going to that page and you're selecting or you're looking at the full program fees, it doesn't include that 20% discount if you are choosing to purchase everything upfront. So that would still be the fee of just if you're purchasing 3 courses, you finish those, purchasing the next 3, and then purchasing the next 3 later, or however you want to break it down. That's just what that program fee is. And those are the current fees. So take a look at it. And if questions come up, just send us an email and we can look through it for you and just let us know what country you are a resident of. It is based on country of residency and not citizenship. Okay. So there's a question about if you're wishing to transition from an online program to an on-campus program and vice versa after admission. So you can't really do that very easily. It is 2 separate programs. I would say email us and we can go into more detail about that. But typically it ends up being that students need to apply for the program again. It's not a simple matter of just transferring. So keep that in mind and definitely consider which program you are most interested in. We don't have hybrid courses. Excuse me. So take a look, just really think about which program fits better with your goals and what you need in terms of flexibility and support. Keep that in mind. And then if you have questions, let us know. We're happy to send along a demo page as well to anybody who wants to get a feel for what the online program looks like. So we have a demo page that gives you access to I believe it's the first 2 modules of one of the core courses on the MBAs. And whatever program you're doing, if you're still doing the MSCs, you can still access this demo page and it'll give you an idea about what the teaching style is like and you can see if it works for you. Just send us an email and we can send that your way if you don't have access to it. But that's a really great resource to be able to see. It talks a little bit about what to expect in terms of the assessment for this particular course, and you'll have access to see what the program looks like. It won't give you access to all the modules, of course, but you'll still be able to see some of the information on the side. So for example, you'll see that there's a module about past assessments where you would, if you are enrolled in this course, have access to and be able to see what kind of assessments have looked like in the past. So it won't come as a surprise to you on assessment day. You'll have some support there and some insight about what to expect. If anybody else has any questions, we do still have some time. Please feel free to pop them in the chat. I do hope this has been helpful, but like I said, if you're worried about asking any questions or not remembering the questions you might have now until after the webinar ends, you can always email us, hwonlineapps@hw.ac.uk. So definitely keep an eye on that. Okay, so there's a question about if you select an assessment date and you can't make it, can you change this? So yes, basically what happens is, like I mentioned previously, when you start studying a course, you're going to be automatically registered in the assessment period that's at least 3 months in the future. But if you start going along and studying, life throws you a few curveballs or work gets super busy and you realize as you get closer to the assessment that you haven't had as much time to devote to your studies as you wanted to, you can go into your student portal and change your assessment date. Just make sure you do so before the deadline to register for the assessment, which is typically about 4 weeks before the assessment. So even if you're registering 3 months in the future, that's still 2 months for you to have an idea about what's happening. And you can absolutely make that change and push it to a future assessment date. Just keep in mind that once you start a particular course, you have 2 years to successfully finish it. So hopefully that gives you enough flexibility, but just keep that in mind. Excuse me, my apologies. But yes, you can absolutely push that back if need be. So if you know that there's going to be a deadline for work and you're not going to be able to sit that day, like it's just not going to happen, go ahead and push that back. You can keep studying, you can switch things around, but you can absolutely change that. You can't change the date within the assessment diet, but you can push it forward to a different assessment period. Okay, so the question about if you purchase all the courses up front, does that give you a lot of flexibility and control over planning the assessment dates, since you'll have an idea of the assessment dates for all the courses? Yes, if you have purchased all of them up front, that does mean you can kind of choose which ones would fit better so that you're not having them all like back to back to back. So that would give you some flexibility there. Just keep in mind that we may not necessarily have all the dates in the future. So like I said, you have up to 2 years to complete the assessment, so we won't have it 2 years in advance, but you would have several of the assessment periods available to you, and you can see what the dates are and how to split it up. If you are still purchasing them course by course, you should still have access to the other diet, or sorry, to that schedule and can see, but it might be a little bit harder to plan, just versus you can already assign which assessment periods you want to take those courses in. I hope that made sense, but if not, let me know. So since the courses are self-paced, what is the window for completion? So it's 2 years to successfully pass the course, and you have up to 8 years to complete the full degree. So just depending how it works out for you, you can be flexible about what pace you're going at. Most of our students finish in about 3 years or so, but everybody's different. Everybody's circumstances are different, so we do want to give you that flexibility so that you have up to 8 years to complete everything. But just that particular course, it'll take, you have up to 2 years to finish it. So after you register and enroll on the program, you should be receiving those messages from student engagement team that I mentioned. That also includes your user ID and your email ID with the Heriot-Watt domain. Sometimes those emails get stuck in spam, or like the system just needs it to be sent. If that happens, email ebs.inquiries@hw.ac.uk, and that's the student engagement team, and they'll be able to help you out. So in terms of the order and the sequence of the courses, you can choose what order you want to study things in. We have a suggested sequence for a number of our courses to make things a little bit easier in terms of like building blocks for the courses, but for the most part, you can take them in whatever order you wish to. So for example, if you're doing the MBA and you have a lot of experience in finances, you might want to start with the financial decision making just to make life a little bit easier in terms of your intro course, but you can choose to start with what we would consider like our stage 1 courses if you'd prefer. If you want to know the suggested sequence, just send us a message and we can look that up for your particular program. Just let us know which program it is that you're interested in. There are some courses that need to be taken last. So if there is a business project or a reflective portfolio, those need to come at the end of your program. It can't be one of the ones that you take first, of course. But other than that, the taught programs, those can be done in whatever order works best for you. All right. So I'm getting a question about university merch. So I assume you mean like t-shirts and such. If that's what you're speaking about, that's not something that is sent to online students or students in general. If you're on campus, there is a student shop, so you are very welcome to come by. For example, upon completing the program, everybody will be invited to a graduation ceremony, and we really hope you're able to attend. It is a good time, but you'll be invited to any of our campuses. So that's Edinburgh, Dubai, Malaysia, and you're welcome to join us at the graduation ceremony. It's a really lovely atmosphere, so we do hope you're able to attend. But if you are, then there's the campus shop. You can stop by, pick up some sweatshirts or some keychains, whatever you might look for. But for those of you who aren't able to attend in person, but you, of course, still want your degree certificate, that is still something we can mail to you. So don't worry if you're not able to join us in person for the graduation. We can still make sure you get your degree certificate. Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment, but if you do, please pop them in. We still have a few minutes, but like I said, if you have any questions, please send us an email. If you want to have a one-on-one chat with an enrollment advisor, you can also book a Speak with an Advisor call. That would be on our website, and you would just put in your information, let us know what kind of basic questions you might have questions about right now, and then you'll get a link to a Teams meeting, and you'll just click that link at the appropriate time, and you'll be joined by myself, Fari, or any of the other enrollment advisors, and be able to ask any questions you might have. So if you have any questions that are really specific and individual to you, that might be useful. Just keep in mind that the times listed are in the UK time zone, so sometimes that can be a bit confusing, but definitely keep an eye out for that. We'll send you confirmation email as well as the link, so definitely take a look at that. So getting a question about the ACCA qualified members, you'll have to email us about that. So it does depend on how long ago you've sit in the tests. So please email us at hwonlineapps@hw.ac.uk, and we can send you the exemption form as well as the email address so you can send it to the exemptions board. It does take them usually about 2 to 3 weeks to review the information. So send it to us so that we can send you that form and you can get it off to them as soon as possible. As I was saying, there are some restrictions on how long it can have been taken. So send us that email and we can help guide you on that process. Okay. It doesn't seem like we have any other questions at the moment. So I do want to thank you all for joining us. I hope you found this information useful and it gives you a better idea about what to expect from the assessments. If you do have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to answer any questions through email or set up a call with you. So I appreciate your time and thank you for joining me today, and have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.